wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Yep, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, Jess Hilarious. We got a good brother in here right now, man. He goes on social media as Chaka Boss. What's the full name, Chaka?
My full name is Shakasha I Victorious I. It's a Rasta name. So Chaka from Shaka Zulu. I don't know if you heard about Shaka Zulu.
Yes.
And then Asha, 12 Tribes of Israel.
Okay.
And then I Victorious I was a title given to me that I will be victorious. So I was set up. My mom, she set me up before I even started. She was like, do good stuff in the world.
How long you been living up to your name? When did you say to yourself, I have to live up to this name?
I mean, I've been a warrior for a while, but kind of the wrong one, because when I was younger, like when I was 16, I joined the British military. So I went to war in Iraq. I did the warrior thing, but being a warrior for Euro colonizer imperialism is not the warrior that Shaka Zulu was. I think actually living up to the name, like 10 years I've been doing work now in Africa and the Caribbean. So 10 years.
That's why I wanted to have you up here, man, because I've been watching a lot of the work that you've been doing in the Congo. And you're like the only person I see, at least that I follow, who's like shining a light on what's happening in the Congo. So first I want to ask you what is happening in the Congo, and what sparked you to have to go out there and like want to really put boots to the ground?
I think, all of these devices that we see in front of us, they all have minerals in them, and those minerals are coming from the Congo. And the term smartphone was coined in 1996 at the same time Congo is being invaded because of cobalt, coltan, wolframite, various minerals that are needed in the tech industry. And I realized that we using these devices, we are tacit complicit in this supply chain of suffering, basically. And now you've got this whole, you see the rhetoric, everybody's like, it's a green tech revolution and everybody go green. But the green tech revolution has a Black African human cost, because since this invasion of Congo, the major one was in 1998, there was 6 million people dead between 1998 and 2003.
And it started in 94 with the
Rwandan genocide.
Rwandan genocide, yeah. And
right.
That was, 800,000 people or something like that?
800,000. But the thing about the Rwandan genocide that not so many people are speaking about, and I sent Winston Duke some messages about it because he's now a citizen of Rwanda. And we see that Kendrick went to go perform in Rwanda. Is that the Rwandan genocide then led to a subsequent genocide of the Congo, which has been going on and has not finished yet. Wow. And so Rwanda has been able to develop now, basically being the client for their friends in Europe and the Middle East. So where people think, it's fine and that's the most progressive country in Africa, right next door, there's a war and there's a genocide. And I've been in that war. So where it's almost like how you have Israel and Palestine now, right? So you have this whole, all right, Israel's very progressive and great healthcare and all of these things. And then right next door is like super genocide. And that's what's going on in Congo, and has been going on in Congo, because the world needs tech. And most countries, in fact, all countries in the world do not have the same amount of minerals as Congo has. It's 2.4 million kilometers squared. If you stuck Congo in California, it would reach Texas. That's how big it is, right? When they tell you how, they talk about Africa like it's a small continent just somewhere down there. Just one country in Africa is half the size of North America, right? And so it's so big that the different superpowers have been dividing it up for many, many years. And obviously there's going to be collaborators. We say that all king folk ain't skin folk.
That's right.
Or I think personally, or all skin folk ain't kin folk. I think personally, the genocide that we're witnessing now is the greatest humanitarian crisis of our time.
You said 6 million people, right?
6 million people between 1988 to 2003.
Wow.
Subsequently, since then, there's been people dying every single day, every single month, every single week since then. So like, I've been working in Congo now for 8 years, and just in the last 2 years that I've been working there, there's been hundreds of thousands of people have lost their lives, as well as these people losing their lives. There has been around another 2 million people displaced. So right now, the population of Congo that is displaced is around 7.5 million. The population of the population of displaced people in Congo is nearly the same population of New York City.
Wow.
So if I put it into scale for you, it's kind of big.
And you go ahead, Jeff.
So you've been there 8 years, and you said that has happened in the last 2 years. What would you say is most challenging in helping the people? Since helping the people of Congo, like obstacles you had to overcome.
The fact that because it's black people, nobody cares.
That's real.
So it's like where we see what was going on in Ukraine and the whole world has to speak about it. Where we see what is going on now in Palestine, and because of its relationship with Israel and because of Israel's relationship with North America, everybody's speaking about it. The fact that we can have nearly, in the last 25 years, nearly 10 million people dead, and it's not popular news, it's not taught in school, that's the most challenging thing. It's like this hidden thing. It's like this under the radar thing. And if I told you in North America or in Mexico or in Ukraine that the population of New York was displaced, and when I mean they're displaced, I mean they're living in a tent, and the tent has been made from a plastic sheet and some wood sticks. They don't have running water. They don't have electricity. They don't have basic healthcare. They don't have hardly any food. So people are starving to death every day. Like, we see people dying every day. Yeah. And if I was to drive you from where we are right now, 55th Street, I think. If I was to drive you from here down to where I was last night, 8th Street, and the whole way you would just see people displaced, you'd be like, what is going on here? Yeah. And people don't go there. That's the other thing, is there is many people who speak about Congo now, or more people speaking about Congo. They don't go. Like, as much as I love my brothers and sisters for speaking about it, as well as speaking about it, go there and help out, or figure out a way. Because the thing is that it's not necessarily that you need to go there and do something. Just go there and take your phone and show people what's going on. Because
get the word out.
Get the word out. Because if these devices are created from the minerals from there, and we all have one, and we're all gonna have the whatever's coming out, right? Then why is it that, we speak about the Holocaust in Germany of the Nazis, and we say never again, right? And that is drilled into us, into movies, into narratives and rhetoric, right? Why has the most people in the world since the Cold War have died in Congo, and the rest of the world is not speaking about it? So in the last 50 years, Congo's deaths have equated to more than all of the world wars and conflicts combined.
Wow.
Where Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, etc., etc. And we're not speaking about it because it's black African people. If these were white people, if these were light-skinned people, and the thing is we have to be the ones that speak about it, because it's only black people who are going to care the most about black people. If we don't care, then nothing's going to get spoken about. And I think that the problem with capitalism is it hides its deficits, right? So yeah, there's a green tech revolution, and we might be able to do some carbon offsetting, right? But there's 7 million, nearly 8 million people displaced because of it. So it's like, do we want that as a solution if we're gonna see, in our time, we're gonna see one of the biggest genocides and biggest displacements of people? So I think that's the biggest problem for me.
Yeah, and that's the other component to it, right? The other component is you have all of these different countries who are benefiting from what's going on in the Congo, and people are not going to be willing to give up their technology. Sadly, in this world, we live in a capitalist society, but everything runs on capitalism. people are going to say, okay, yeah, we know those people are going through that, but you need laptops. That's the
Of course.
mindset.
No, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But at the same time, as we always say, you can get the minerals.
Mm-hmm.
Stop killing people.
Yeah.
Like, why is it if you discovered gold, you're from Baltimore, right?
Yep.
Imagine if there was a gold mine in Baltimore. Why does half the population of Baltimore now have to be displaced because of that gold mine? It seems like it's only Africa where resources are a curse.
Mm-hmm. Everywhere
Else, the resources is great. It's great to be used there. And at the same time, when we try and get these messages out, shout out to Julie at Meta at Instagram, because she's helping me out. The accounts that speak about this the most are the most censored, right? So like every single product within Instagram, I basically can't use. And I built a whole village in Congo, right? We care for around 100 orphan children. But every single product, I haven't been able to go live for 7 months.
Wow.
Right? Subscriptions, no. Can't send broadcast messages out. Can't, what other things can you, when people share my stories, it mentions this person has repeatedly posted false information. If you want to try and follow me, you don't follow me. But if you want to try and follow me, it's going to give you a warning before you follow me. Jeez. And this is the same thing as, from what I can see, this is the same thing as COINTELPRO. It's like silence black leaders, stop the rise of a black nation, and this is the third point of COINTELPRO, stop the communication of African Americans because of how much your GDP is worth, and Africans on the continent. Stop that work together, because if you look at New York, for instance, New York has a population of 8 million, 1.3 trillion, right? If you look at, you're from Carolina, right?
Yes, sir, South Carolina.
If you look at Carolina, and you look at the GDP of Carolina, I got it written down here. You look at the GDP of Carolina, and then I thought Envy was going to be here as well. I combined the three GDPs of Carolina, Baltimore, and New York State. New York State is 20 million people, and it's a GDP of 2 trillion, right? And then when you look at when you add Baltimore to that, and you add Maryland to that, it's 500 billion, right? And then if you add South Carolina to that, and the GDP of Colombia, that's another 300 billion, right? The entire GDP of the entire continent of Africa, which is around 1.4 billion people, is 2.7 trillion. So 3 states in America have the same GDP as the entire continent of Africa. And we know that Africa is resource rich. So then what is the system that's being set up? Because it's not just Congo. There's many countries that is happening in. And so when we try and speak about this, we're always being censored. And I'm sure they'll work it out, because if I wasn't able to use Instagram the way that I've used Instagram, then I wouldn't have been able to do the things that I've been able to do. Because why are you going to, as white imperialist structures, why are you going to elect somebody who's speaking about the same things that you're benefiting from? You're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But black people see me and they're like, well, we want to know about what's going on in Congo. We got phones. We want to know about this stuff. And so I would implore everybody. Years ago, I set up a charity called I Heart Africa, because Congo is the heart chakra of Africa. It's right in the center of Africa. I set up this charity, and since then we've cared for around 200 children for like 8 years. But it's a drop in the ocean. And what I would say is African Americans being involved in African business, African philanthropic efforts, are not going to do it for nefarious reasons. They're going to do it because they see, you see a little Congolese kid, you'll be like, that could be my kid, right? And that in of itself is going to do something. Whereas when people are going there with this colonial mindset, they're going there as, let's go and help these poor starving Africans, at the same time as stealing diamonds, stealing gold, stealing coltan, because the reality is it's not Africans that control this. Right now, they're out of the 19 mines that mine coltan in Congo, 15 of them are owned by Chinese. And I'm not going to come on here and talk shit about Chinese, but I am going to say that they are going to do for their own people first. And so we should do for our own people first, because the other thing is, I've seen Baltimore. That is like poverty, like crazy. It's like almost.
First of all,
I'm not saying the whole of Baltimore, but I'm saying some of them stoops. I watched The Wire. I seen The Wire.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why with a port there that people should be so impoverished, right? And this is what Marcus Garvey was trying to do with his Black Star Liner. There should be a shipping company. There should be an airport that's black owned. There should be black owned commerce coming from Africa to the port in Baltimore and vice versa. Trade should be done directly. Shouldn't have to do trade with a government that's going to steal from you anyway. Because, I mean, shit. if we get into talking about government, I know that you guys sometimes have political people on here.
Often, yeah.
At the same time as all of the things that I've just said are happening, it was funded by the US government. Like, they literally funded it and went in there and are protecting their interests, etc., etc. And we argue about this stuff often. Should you vote Republican? Should you vote Democrat? And it's like we say in Rasta it's like, in fact, indigenous people say this, but Rasta people say this as well, is two wings of the same bird is still the same bird. And when we're given these systems to vote on, we're not given an opportunity to actually create change. We're just given an opportunity to reinstate the same system with a blue or a red symbolism on it. And
because throughout the world, nothing changes regardless of who is in the White House. Their interest will be their interest.
Right.
Regardless. America has an interest. It doesn't matter who is in that White House, Republican or Democrat at the time.
But I'm speaking to Black America. Because Black America is powerful enough to be able to make its own decisions for what it wants to do with its own destiny. And you see the exodus to Ghana right now.
Yes.
Like, right now, me and my friends, shout out to, I don't even know if I can announce it yet, but we're about to start building a city in Ghana, like a whole city.
Amazing.
For the diaspora to go home to. And we were there like a few weeks ago and living nice.
Love Ghana,
like,
man.
Living nice.
Love Ghana.
You been to Ghana?
Yes, love it.
Right.
I got property in Ghana. And buying more.
Right. And then imagine you don't experience any racism the whole time that you're there. Like, if the police stop you, they're asking you how your day is. If the police stop you in America, you might catch a stray.
Listen.
You don't know how it's going to go.
Right.
Based on what kind of day they're having.
Right. Right. In Ghana, the police can't flex like that. In Ghana, I think the last time a soldier shot somebody and shouldn't have shot that person, the people went out and dragged him out into the street and killed him.
Jesus.
You can't be doing that in Africa. The way that things run in the West is very different to the way that things run in Africa. And
even if you steal, like if you go to the markets in Ghana,
you be strung up.
It's a word they yell out. I can't remember, but if you steal, they yell out this word.
Yeah, and everybody will lynch you.
And everybody beat you up.
Don't be stealing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or if you be stealing, don't get caught.
Yeah.
And then we go back to the government. They get caught stealing. Like this whole banking bailout thing that happened. It happens every 8 years. Every time there's a financial crisis. Like, I was walking through New York a few days ago, and I saw, not actually, I just came from Jamaica, but the last time I was here a few weeks ago, I was walking through New York, and I saw that American people are 34 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
In debt to who? Who are you in debt to? And then you have to think about, if you're 34 trillion in debt, because Africa's a cash system, as you know, here is a credit system. If you're 34 trillion dollars in debt, which means that you are spending money you don't have, then who is doing that labor for you? Where is that being exported to? Obviously, Africa, China, India, etc. And the reality is that where there's like this massive amount of censorship for speaking about the things that are real, the things that are, I want to say that they're bullshit, but the things that I don't think we should speak about so much are, for instance, what is going to dominate the airwaves for the next month, maybe, is Kendrick versus Drake.
That's right.
Who gives a shit?
I just read an article on Rolling Stone, and it was talking about how it's hard to care about a rap war when it's a real war going on.
Yeah.
And that was probably referring to Palestine.
Palestine and Israel, yeah.
There's 5 million people displaced in Sudan. There's an ongoing conflict that's being financed by the West in Somalia. There are millions of people displaced in Yemen. South Sudan, wars back and forth. We're looking at one of the biggest humanitarian crises of our time in Central East Africa, and we are worried about who's got better bars. And if you look at it, let's be honest, rap battles is just grown men spitting poetry to each other.
Especially Kendrick.
Right, but it is. It's like,
You make it sound so romantic.
I mean, if you're taking the time to go back and forth and research somebody and write poetry about them, I mean, I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
Damn.
Listen,
All of y'all popping ass with Sexy Red. That's what he just said. Damn.
all I'm saying is there's real wars going on in the world, and I've been doing this work for nearly 10 years now. I started when I left the military. I started doing boxing. Well, I was boxing in the military, but I was doing boxing to raise money to do these things. And I've been in war zones in Somalia, in Congo, real gunshots going off, real bombs. We had to evacuate kids and all kinds of stuff, right? Seeing trucks full of bodies, right? My phone's not ringing. My phone's not ringing. So people are seeing.
Got no balls, Chaka.
If I start rapping about it, all of a sudden everybody's gonna be like, you know about Congo, you know what's going on in Congo.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, are we the black bourgeoisie, and are we the raccoons that our slave masters wanted us to be? Are we the house Negroes? Or
what is the black bourgeoisie?
So the black bourgeoisie is a class that's been created basically to run errands for white people. The black bourgeoisie class essentially are the black elites. They work for the powers that be to maintain the status quo, to maintain the order of what is going on. And if you look at the black bourgeoisie, they usually have everything to say and nothing changes. Yes. They're the most opinionated because they have the phones, they have the platforms, etc., etc. And I've been an activist for a long time. And so when I look at that class of people, I'm like, well, talk your shit, say whatever you want to say, but put some little money towards moving some of these things forward.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I say that all the time, and it's not a party thing. It don't matter. It's not conservative or liberal. It's just like these people talk so much about what needs to be done, but what are they actually doing?
Yeah.
I think personally that when a revolution happens, because I've been for a long time now a Pan-African revolutionary, and I've been trying to make change, and I've been making change. I've been refurbishing the Haile Selassie High School in Kingston, Jamaica. I just came from Jamaica. I've been refurbishing this high school, trying to get everybody within Rasta to unite under this banner of we need to do better for the kids. I built a school in Ghana. I created a agricultural development program in Somalia that was feeding 300,000 people. At the same time, we're doing this project in Congo. We built a village with 24 houses, and we now look after around 200 people, right? This is one little me, just a one man. If you start thinking about collectively what all of these people can do if they put their heads together, but it's egos. Everybody wants to be Moses. Oh, I've got to have my own foundation. Yeah. Oh, I've got to have my own thing. And it's like, if somebody says to you now, all right, Jess, you got to build a school, and you're going to be like, okay, all right, how am I going to do this? If somebody says, Jess, there's 100 people building a school, do you want to put in? It's like, put in.
It's easier. Yeah.
Right? Because the other thing is if you need to do the action as well. If you spend all of your time talking, when are you going to get the action done?
That's right.
And that's what I say to my brothers and sisters who do a lot of talking. And I don't mean journalists and radio show hosts. I mean the black bourgeoisie who have this idea that they are the voice for the people. They're the voice for the oppressed people. I'm like, you're the voice for the oppressed people, but what about the resources? Like, what are you turning that voice into actual action, or are you just saying that you're going to go inspire people? I've lost a lot of friends along the way because they want me to speak, and I want to do. So that's why I do maybe, and I'm gonna come back on here and I'll do more interviews to give you guys updates. But I will do 4 years of work and then come and talk about it. Most people go and do 4 years of talking and do some little work. So it's like, okay, so where is the factory that you promised, or where is the business that you promised? It's not going to be there. And then so many, regardless of whether you like me or not or whatever I say, these things are happening. So I try and shed a light on it. There's a sister, Amanda Seals. She blocked me. A lot of people blocked me across the course of time. She blocked me because during and the only reason I'm speaking about her is because people have told me that she talks about me on her Patreon, and I don't even talk about her, right? But the reason why she blocked me is because in 2020, during the election, the same year that my Instagram got shut down, right? Because for whatever reason, they didn't want me to speak to black people during that time. She was like, you need to tell everybody to vote for Biden. I was like, I ain't going to go and tell no black folk to vote for no white person. I ain't going to go and do it. You can't say that. You're an agent. You're a this. You're not a brother, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, why are we black folk fighting over which white man is going to rule us?
I agree.
Why are we doing that?
I don't know why.
Why are we still doing that?
I don't know why we still beholden to any party. Black conservatives, black liberals, I don't get it.
Right, exactly. Black nationalism. That's what Malcolm X was preaching. Put blackness first. Blocked me, and then turns around and starts calling Joe Biden Genocide Joe. And I'm like, well, I didn't tell nobody, no black folk to vote for no white folk in the first place. Have your own representation.
And you're not even telling people not to vote. You're just saying, I'm not going to endorse.
Right. Because at the same time, not all white folk are bad, but white systems, wherever they meet black people, are terrible.
Yeah.
Right? So we need our own systems. Not all Arab people are bad. But Arab systems where they meet Africans is terrible. No, Chinese people are bad. But Chinese systems, you see what they're doing in Africa, buying up everything. You see the people in the Caribbean is the same thing. So it's like, I don't think integration was the best idea. It might have been a good idea on paper, but you see what Martin Luther King said before he transitioned.
I think I've integrated my people
before he was assassinated by the government, by this government.
Yeah.
He said, I've integrated my people into a burning building. Right? And I say that 2 men or 2 women in a burning building should not stop to argue. So what are we arguing about? We need to just keep moving forward. Like I learned Kiswahili so I can be able to speak to people in Congo because they don't speak English. That's how diligent I am. That's how much work I'm trying to do. And then you have people who are more concerned about rap battles, who's sleeping with who, and the culture, it seems, is just being dragged down into nothingness. Hip hop used to mean something. Right? And I've seen Umar Johnson speaking about this before. Hip hop used to mean something, and at the same time, it's been 50 years of hip hop now. Where is the hip hop university? Where is the hip hop factory? Where is the hip hop school? Where is the hip hop of where is the hip hop offices for the elevation of young black and brown people in Baltimore, in New York, etc.? It doesn't exist. But these men are so opinionated, and now women are so opinionated about arguing amongst each other and intellectually jousting with each other and like almost masturbating their ego all over the internet all of the time and showing they're so involved in seeking white validation. They're so involved in and it's not just the hip hop, it's the athletes as well, it's the actors as well. And when I'm around them, right? So like a few years ago, I was around Ye. He invited me to the Drake and him thing in California.
Larry Hoover concert?
Yeah. And I was there and I was like, why are all these white folk running around? Because he's like, I'm black. And I get it, you're black. But
that was a phase.
It was a phase, of course. Right. you see his girl, but then you see Drake's girl as well. I think Drake's was she was a porn star, no? Right. Yeah. And she's white.
Very much.
Right. So why are we saying nigger all the time and talking about blackness all of the time and speaking on blackness when you don't live that life?
Well, to your point about what hip hop can be, that's what Kendrick is saying.
Right.
About Drake. And not only that, Kendrick is also saying, where's the substance?
Right.
You know, what are you teaching your son? You're not teaching your son about any morals, any values, and integrity. You're not teaching your son about what God is considering. I don't know if you heard the record, but
I heard it.
Yeah.
I don't think that Drake should make. I don't think he should. That's it. I think it should be done by now. I don't think he should come back.
Some tight white bars right
Kendrick
now.
put out another one this morning.
And Drake's not even writing it.
A back to back. Well, yeah.
Drake's not even writing it. But the fact of the matter is that if these two men or some of the other people who are beefing, the Future and Ye and Metro and all these people put their money together, they could easily build a whole hip hop institution in Nigeria, and some of the best music in the world would come out of there.
What do you say to people? Because you know there are brothers like the Rick Rosses of the world who are.
He blocked me as well.
Really?
Damn.
Why?
But
Ross does so much entrepreneurship. Ross hires so many black people. He creates a lot of things for black people as far as financial is concerned. Finance.
I think it needs to. This is what I honestly think, brother. I think it needs to move abroad. It needs to move abroad to where we are found all over the earth.
Yeah.
You can't just be going to Jamaica and be like, yo, Jamaica was nice. Oh, you know, the food was good, and then I left Jamaica. Where's your hip hop school in Jamaica? Where is your make some shoes, make a sneaker company, do something. Like I've been saying to people for years, and this is the difference between hard power and soft power. A lot of these people only have soft power. They don't have it like that. They don't really have bank like that. They don't have money in the bank that is real money. They have credit. They have their name, right? And the way that most other groups are able to create wealth and generate value is they put their money together. They do group economics. Yeah. Where we are now owned by white corporate media, we are now owned by contracts with different peoples. We don't actually have the power. It's like, all right, I'll sit with you and I'll talk with you for 2 hours about what we black folk need to do. But at the end of the day, my business manager's white. Not me, but I'm speaking for them. Right. At the end of the day, I need to get a loan from Chase. At the end of the day, I need to get a loan from JP Morgan. Like I can't just say, do you know what, guys? I've got 200 million and where's yours and where's yours and where's yours, and we're going to buy this block.
So you're saying you can't build black systems if you got to go get the money from white systems?
Well, look at community redlining here in America, right? If you come from a certain zip code, then you ain't going to get the job. You ain't going to get the loan. Why, if you are white imperialistic structural violence, why are you now going to give money to the people that you're oppressing? And look at this whole thing that's been going on for a few years now since social media came about, with this whole ADOS, FBA, and then the African kind of wars that's going on. It's a back and forth wars. And at the same time, the wars that have been happening here between the Crips and the Bloods and the gangs and the different things, it's like you're fighting over a block that you don't own. It's called the black neighborhood, but black people just live there. We don't own it, right? And where you look at all of these different groups fighting, whether it's the black Americans and the black Africans, you will see that white folk now will pick black Africans over black African Americans or black Americans because they want to continue to create that conflict.
Or black British, especially in Hollywood, for roles and things of that
right,
nature.
exactly. And I'm not saying that black British aren't amazing actors. They are amazing actors.
They are,
But the fact of the matter is that your oppressor will always find devious ways to continue to keep you oppressed while trying to elevate other groups. So like, for instance, Koreans, Jewish people, Chinese people will be all up in the hood, owning their own hood, owning our own areas. And they are the pretext, or they're the pre-movement for the gentrification of these areas, right? And at the same time, we're sitting there saying, oh, well, it's these black Caribbeans that are, causing this conflict with African Americans, or it's these black Africans and they're coming and they're taking our jobs. And it's the same rhetoric as the racists use when they say about black people are coming and taking our jobs, etc., etc. But the reality is that there's very, very few oppressors and there's a lot of oppressed people. And if the oppressed people start coming together, like my phone should be ringing off the hook. yo, how are we making my friend's got a gold mine in Zambia. So why don't we invest in that? And why don't we be making millions of dollars each month in money from natural resources? But people are more inclined to invest in shares in Apple. But yet the CEO of Apple is saying that there's no conflict minerals in their products. I've got an Apple product here, but I've seen the mines where the products come from. And there's children working in those mines. So if we're against child labor here, why are we not against child labor there?
Yeah.
But black folk would rather be like, hey, I'm going to put some investments in Nike. I'm going to put some investments in Apple. I'm going to put some investments in Tesla. I'm going to get my money back. At the
Nike's child labor too, though. I mean, most all of those companies.
Right. But if you now, Charlamagne and Jess, have shares in a mine in Zimbabwe or in Zambia, a gold mine, and you're going to be going there to and from, you'll be checking up and seeing that everything is above board and there's no kids working in that mine and people are able to earn a living wage. You're not just going to be like, yeah, well, because that's black folk. Whereas when you like, all right, let me get shares in Tesla, it's not your business. It's just, you just hope you get a return on it. But at the same time, and this is what I always explain to people about primary, secondary, and tertiary economy, not so many black folk own primary economy. Primary economy is resources. It is agriculture. It is land, right? Secondary economy is turning those resources into something it's manufacturing. It's making products. And then the tertiary economy is where we're so focused, where this whole rap battle exists, is goods and services and entertainment. How is it that we don't own the entertainment industry? Because we don't own enough agriculture, we don't own enough factories to be able to then have a flourishing entertainment industry that we own. You need to own, there's steps to being able to get to the top of this world domination. And we don't own it. Like, where's the black military? Look at how many people here have been in the military, served in Iraq, served in Afghanistan, left the military, and are homeless on the street. But security company, or security industry, is the biggest industry in Somalia. I don't know no black folk that are involved in that.
Wow.
I don't know no black folk that are involved in that. I was in the military, and my training and the people that I know, if somebody came to me, we have plans, and came to me and said, hey, can you create as a security company in an African country? We'd be like, yeah, all right, cool, we'll do it. But the thing is, and this is the other thing about the black bourgeoisie and their gatekeepers, a lot of their gatekeepers are people who have interests in their own communities that are not our communities, right? So a lot of most black folk that get to a certain level of wealth, they don't live in the hood. They don't go to the hood. They ain't going back there. They ain't doing anything there. And then when you see people like me, you see people like Rizza Islam, you see people like Umar Johnson, you see people like 19 Keys, you see groups of men who are like, hey, we're doing this. Like, we're trying to do this. Everybody's just like, yeah, let's try and watch this nigga fail. And they're just waiting. And then when they do, because nobody supports them, they're like, ha, I told you so. I told you not to trust black folk. And then you got Rick Ross. Rick Ross blocked me. The reason why he blocked me is
throw Killer Mike and T.I. out there too. Those brothers
are cool. Cool brothers. I really respect them. But he blocked me because I was like, yeah, but you was a probation officer. And you are appropriating the story of Ricky Freeway Ross, like who was the
Freeway Rick Ross,
Freeway Rick Ross, who was the real coke dealer, and I was trolling him, so he has every right to block me. Like, I'm not.
You shouldn't have been trolling.
This was like 10 years ago or something, and I was just like,
oh, this when he was fat too. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No.
But you should reach out to somebody like that and build. I like the energy you're putting out, Ross. Let me show you some other things
to put into
that you could be investing in.
But the other thing is over the years I've reached out to many people, and most of the people, when I ring them or when I message them, they leave that message unseen. They ain't bothered with that because they're trying to work out who's going to go to the Met, what is happening with the Grammys, what is happening with the Oscars, what white validation is going to come. I got a BET award like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm due another one, BET, if you're watching this. I got a BET award, but the only reason why I wanted the award was to speak to black folk in a mass audience. What
did you win for?
Global Good Award for doing the work that I've been doing. And the same year, Nipsey posthumously got a humanitarian award.
Okay.
And these were the 2 awards for like doing good and whatever. But I was sitting in this room and everybody was in this room, and I was like, there must be 1 billion in this room alone. This is like 2019. I was like, there must be 1 billion in this room alone. That money could be invested in something collective, a cooperative for people, and then we could use it to actually fix up hoods here. And I wanted to go and speak on the stage. They moved my shit to the side stage. I didn't even air on the main thing.
Wow.
And that's the first year that they did that.
Wow.
The reason being, as I said about these same gatekeepers, is they don't want people like me who are not just mobilizers but organizers as well. They don't want us around us because they know that we can do for self.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for this tipping point where this genocide that's been going on in Congo for 25 years, it becomes like how it was in the 70s and in the 80s with South Africa, where everybody was like, we need to stop this shit. We need to stop it because we can't have these systems emerging where so many people are being subjugated by so few people. In Congo, so many people are being subjugated by so few people because there's no weapons factories in Congo. So how are they getting all these weapons? How are there so many people being murdered when there's no weapons factory? Well, the Bush administration and the Clinton administration was funding that.
Sounds like the same thing that happened in the hoods of America here.
The same thing that happens in the hoods in Jamaica. It's like, we don't have no weapons factories. Why is it full of weapons? We don't make no drugs. We don't have no cocaine.
Ain't no gun manufacturers made in Harlem.
Right, exactly.
Like Nino Brown said.
But then white folks speak about black people like, oh, they're just so violent. It's like, bro, look at your armies. What do you mean we're so violent? Yeah, we're going to be violent where you remove all ways. Like, look at when here in America, when they remove
all resources.
They removed all the blue collar jobs. Yeah. They filled the hoods with crack, and then they killed all of our leaders. And then they said, go on then, go and work it out. And where are we now today? Are we in a better situation? I know that you right now, whoever gets elected, you ain't got no hope for the hood being fixed. Any of the hoods.
Not past what I'm doing. Not past what we're attempting to do in our own communities.
Right. But what I'm saying is these things should be done in a way that there is. So for instance, it's a very basic thing. So I have a fruit company and I've been sending fruit to every celebrity that you can think of and many people for years now. Because
you never send no fruit up here.
I mean,
send it, Chaka.
Yeah.
Oh, you bought some?
Yeah, you better. Thank you. Thank you. Just 2 pieces of fruit. I love it. For one for me and my baby.
What is that?
Smell the fruit. This is from Jamaica.
It's a pear? No.
Oh, it came from Jamaica. Oh, it's sweet.
Oh, it smells great. What is it? I know what this is. It's
This is East Indian mango.
Mango. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Because I was like, okay. Then you came in smelling like cocoa butter and opportunity.
I'm glad you got into that about the fruit because I want to ask you, what can people do if they want to get involved? If they want to get involved with the work that you're doing in the Congo, if they just want to get involved in what you got going on.
That's for you.
Sweet.
He's got
a
history of indigenous slavery in Ghana from the 15th to the 19th century.
Because once you read that book, that's going to dispel all of the conversation. Well, Africans sold Africans first. It's like, yeah, they did, but not into chattel slavery.
Okay.
They weren't trying to sell Africans into what Europeans have done with Africans or what Arabs have done with Africans. It's just like how you have some people in society is like, oh, have you got your blue check? Oh, you haven't got your blue check? You're not as high as me in society. There was a classism that existed in Africa where if you have, if your family is not of noble blood or whatever, then you might just be a laborer all of your life. It was indentured servitude. There was indentured laborer. There was indentured labor, but it wasn't, we're going to breed your children. We're going to rape you. We're going to, steal your babies and it wasn't that. It was just like, you're a lower class, so you're going to do that job,
So how can people get involved with what you're doing, Chaka?
I think somebody needs to fix my Instagram because I need to be able to speak to more people.
Right.
Because like last month I posted a video and it got 40 million views and now I'm posting a video and it's getting 5,000 views. So that's being done. They can go to iheartafrica.org, which is our website for the charity. When we launched this city because we're going to launch this city very soon
In Ghana.
Mm-hmm. People and we'll have mortgages so people can actually, because I know that a lot of Americans don't just have a spare $200,000-$300,000 there. Buy a house in Ghana. Come and move home. Be part of this movement because everybody's going to. Have you been to Ghana yet?
No, not yet. Need to go. Okay.
If you've ever been to Ghana and you've partied there at Christmas, it is fire. But people are leaving afterwards because they gotta go back to a job that they don't like and live in a country in a house that they don't want to be in, and they're paying stupid rent. Like, look at the cost of living here, and then you're living in some like you're living in a phone booth. You're living in a desk cubicle, but this is a studio apartment. You're paying $2,000-$3,000 for it, and then I am going to restart the fruit company because I had to put it on hold while I built this village in Congo. I'm trying to make the village in Congo completely self-sustainable, so that the people there are able to produce soap, to produce furniture, produce things that can look after all the kids because. When you're brought a child and both their parents have been killed, that's your child now. So you have to figure out a way to look after that kid. So that's what we've been doing there in Congo. But what I want to do, and this is maybe something that you could be involved in, and you could be involved in, I want to restart the Black Panthers People's Free Food Program and the Breakfast Club. I want to restart that. I want to restart that with, because one of my friends, Colin Kaepernick, and there's a lot of good brothers out there as well, and good sisters who've helped me along the way. Colin Kaepernick is one of them. Lenny Kravitz is another one of them. Kyrie Irving, big support. Like, he gave us 100K to the village. He didn't put it on Instagram. He didn't say anything, but we used that to build 10 houses for people, right? Wow. Kaepernick started the Your Rights Camp, Know Your Rights Camp, and they've been teaching kids their rights. But I think that we should be going further than that, and every single inner city school in North America should be able to get natural fruits and natural foods to kids before they get on that school program where they're about to eat some eggs and ham and some bread and some pizza, and that's their food. And then we wonder why the kids are running around and being crazy. Yeah.
Well, we can definitely do that. I just started an initiative with the Food Bank NYC. For the same reason, like I wanted to do the same thing. Like we're the Breakfast Club. I wanted to start like a breakfast program, but they feed hundreds of thousands of people, a month at the foodbanknyc.org. So I mean, they would love to take donations of fresh fruits and vegetables. We can definitely do that.
That's one thing. See, people be like, "Yo, I got my Rolls Royce. That's a flex." They take these videos of them walking out of their cars, and they'd be like, "Oh, I got this outfit from so and so. That's a flex." A flex is feeding the kids.
Especially if you can say, "Yo, I was responsible for 100,000 people eating."
Right.
Something like that. You know what I mean?
A flex is feeding the kids. There's a lot of kids that grew up in that Black Panthers People's Free Food Program who are adults right now who have done amazing things. But you ain't going to pay attention or do what you're supposed to do if you're starving. Yeah. And especially not just starving, we have to be eating foods that are compatible with our genotype. If we've got melanin, right? And it's become a buzzword. We're carbonated beings, right? We need the sun and we need natural fruits. We're like a plant, right? And if you are feeding this melanin with high fructose corn syrup, you're feeding this melanin with salt, and you're feeding this melanin with hydrogenated oils, you're not feeding the melanin, you're starving it. That's why people be looking cracky and not be looking healthy.
Jesus. She's looking crazy.
But it's true. It's like people be out here. What did I see the other day? Yesterday, I saw Sukihana broke her tooth on a crab boil. Or something.
Crab leg.
It wasn't a real tooth. It was a veneer.
There's a veneer.
Yeah.
The fact that we even are getting veneers. The fact that we are even.
But why she ain't got no real tooth?
Right. You need teeth in your head. From? God gave you that. Right. We be out here praying every Sunday for salvation and giving our tithe to the pastor and doing all of these things, right? And we disrespect what God gave us. Yeah. Like, God gave us teeth. God gave us eyes. God gave us our own black people hair. God gave us our own intelligence. And what do? We pray for a day that white Jesus is going to come and save us.
Damn.
We pray for that day at the same time as, if you want to look at Christianity, like Orthodox Christianity is in Ethiopia. How many black Americans who call themselves Christians are trying to go to Ethiopia and learn about it? They ain't. It's a colonization thing.
Chaka, you're giving out too much right now. It's not the last time you're gonna be up here. Okay.
Wait.
I Heart Africa.
iHeartAfrica.org.
Okay.
And people can come and follow my Instagram. But when people give us money,
What's the Instagram? Chaka Bars, right?
Chaka Bars.
Chaka Bars. Yeah.
But you're gonna have to type in the full thing, and then you're gonna have to search for a post that has my name on it, and then follow me, and then there's gonna be a warning.
Because he's been shadow banned
For a long time.
Shadow banned. Okay.
Support what Chaka is doing. He will be back here. Okay.
He better be.
iHeartAfrica.org. Chaka, thank you for coming, my brother.
Thank you.
Enjoy the mangoes.
And thank you for my fruit. Yes.
Enjoy this today.
And we should try to feed as many kids as possible.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Because that is our duty. If we want to speak about God, then we need to do God's work.
I'm already in bed with Food Bank NYC, so let's do it.
All right.
Chaka Bars, y'all. It's the Breakfast Club.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.